A clever use of fabrics can completely transform a room, and its classic appeal won't ever go out of style. One business that has proven this is Busatti, an 8th generation fabric maker and one of the oldest continuously operated companies in Italy, truly withstanding the test of time. Some of the brand's best-selling designs today are over 150 years old. Isn't that just fantastic? Kate Nixon is the director of Busatti Australia, and today she is joined by the general manager of Busatti Italy, Michelangelo Formica. Oh, and you only landed last night. I think you are so brave being with us today.
Well, you know, we're trained.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much for coming out. Fabric, I mean, it is. The good fabric is true luxury, isn't it?
It is.
You can feel it, you can see it, you can almost smell it. Do you think this is something, tell me, Michelangelo, that is never going to leave us, the joy of touching true fabric?
I don't think so, till people have the sensibility of feeling that quality is tradition. Then that's the point. I think it will be endless.
And the heritage, the history of this property, we've got some wonderful overlay of that factory, which goes back, it has family. How many generations have
Eight
been?
generations.
Eight
It
generations.
started in 1842. Actually, officially established 1842, but actually 1797.
That's just remarkable. This is just, look at the beautiful heritage. And I just think it's that which is still in every fabric, every thread. Don't you think, Kate?
Definitely. I think we're talking about the concept of luxury and how that, I think that's really moved beyond high price points and big brand labels, and is so much more today about authenticity and this sort of history of excellence and really authentic and honest materials and processes, which is what Busatti is all about.
I mean, that's authenticity is really an interesting word to use with it, because in a world of throwaway things, if anything put together with an Allen key and good luck. This is not so. Is that what drew you to it?
Very
Kate?
much so. I think it's just that enduring. It is so honest, and the materials and the designs, which are over 150 years old, some of them are still our bestsellers today, which to me is really the true definition of a classic. And when you invest in a piece with that quality and that integrity of the material and the design, you know you're going to have it forever. You're never going to tire of it. It's really a true investment.
Because it's beyond the design, it's the actual integrity of the fabric itself.
Exactly.
And you can use, obviously, fabric anywhere in your home. Where are your favourite
Well,
places?
I think that you need to think about where fabrics are going to make the biggest statement in your interior, and for me that's kind of a bed head in a bedroom. It's a beautiful feature chair in a living room, and it's putting sort of statement fabrics on statement pieces, and then maybe some more neutral fabrics on the larger pieces that you can zhuzh up with cushions and throws and change for the seasons.
Michelangelo, do you find that we use it, or do you know, do we use it the same way here? Do we have the same, I don't know, eclectic sort of style?
Well, you're more flexible. You use our fabrics in different ways, which we don't dare. Maybe because they're too traditional.
Do you think?
And that's something we appreciate. Actually, we are learning. It's surprising to say, though we have 150 years old company. We are learning from Kate. She's brilliant, I must say. It's not because she's here, but she's really...
Oh, come on, it is. Tell us the truth.
Particularly talented.
Yes.
And she's doing a great job, and we are very happy. She's, besides a client, she's a friend. We really feel, you know, there's a wavelength.
Yes.
And Australia is a country which is quite open because, as you know, Busatti Australia is not only Sydney, it's also Perth, it's also Melbourne now. And we see that all over the country there is this sensibility. People appreciate the right people, because after all, we don't want to be the first. We want to be the best, which is different.
That is the difference, isn't it? So, besides the heritage, what else sets the Busatti fabric apart from other fabrics?
To me, it's also the wide widths in terms of doing upholstery and curtains. Most of our fabrics are up to 3 metres wide because they're still made on these old shuttle looms, like you're seeing through the images. So that's really fantastic for no seams when you come to just a detail, but it's a really important detail when you're looking at upholstery.
It sounds dull, but it's so practical.
It is. It's really practical, and it does make a difference when you see the finished product, and it's something that is still quite unique about Busatti because we're still looming our fabrics in a really traditional way.
I love that story that you told us about, the fact that there was a shortage of funds in the war, didn't update the looms.
Exactly.
And probably thought that was a terrible, oh my gosh, we're going to be so far behind.
At that time it was a terrible thing, and it turned into a very positive thing.
And it's still now, still now. So we've got that tradition.
I think we're coming back to that appreciation of the imperfect and the handmade and wanting to understand the story behind the brand and where something is from. And it's so nice to be able to say, it's from Italy when people ask that question. It's nice to represent something that...
Well, they do ask it because you've got the store. You have the store, the beautiful store.
Exactly.
Now, when you talk about heritage and stores and things, do you feel that you can't have a modern shop?
Not at all. What I love about Busatti is that I love seeing other designers use the fabrics in really contemporary ways because I think it is something different to what's been done in Europe, and our sensibility in Australia is different, and our light's different, and the way we live is different. Much more about that indoor-outdoor lifestyle and how do fabrics work within that, and I think it's really nice to challenge those concepts and present something different and show how the fabrics can be really modern but still classic.
And that therefore must come up with how do you choose if you've got such a wonderful range. It's just like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, I think it can be very overwhelming for people choosing fabrics. You walk in and you just get really overwhelmed with
especially
the
if you
choice.
love all of it.
Yes.
If you love all of it, you're in trouble.
I think the place to start is the colour, for me, the colour palette, and that really helps to narrow down where we're going to look, and then to consider whether you want a pattern or a lovely textured plain or a stripe, and then from there you can kind of channel in. But I think it's important to mix the patterns at the same time, not to just choose one fabric, because that gives that interior a bit more dynamic.
I think we've talked about this wonderful sort of Italian heritage, gorgeous years and years and years of design, and yet you can put this into a beach house.
For sure.
Which is so amazing to me that this can work. And you've done it before, the beach house, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah. I think there's some beautiful... we've got one called Antica Casantina, which was designed for Giorgio Armani's Casa Armani collection, and it's so...
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, that's all. Let's just drop names. And it's a beautiful, natural, textured linen that's perfect for a beach house. So it's very... we've got pretty beach house images here where we're heading next, actually, which is a beautiful neutral palette and all about texture and all about raw linens and just getting back to nature.
It is, well, there's that linen cotton thing again, which still confuses me, I confess. It is a different fibre, is it not?
Yes, it is different. The linen is flax, basically. So it's more refined, it's the Rolls-Royce of fibres, while cotton is more common, but yet gives a softness, gives a touch, and blended. So what we produce is 100% linen, 100% cotton, or a blend of 60 linen, 40 cotton. This is our main production. And another important point, they are all, Kate was talking about colours, they are yarn-dyed, which is important.
So can you explain
the difference, yes, between yarn dyed, and normally they are either the bolt is dyed or it's printed. In this case, it's a thread that goes through the color. So the brilliance and the durability of the color are much, much more intense and long.
So it's a much more time-intensive process. Every yarn is dyed before the fabric is woven, as opposed to just producing thousands of metres of fabric and dip dyeing it. So it's a much more time-intensive process, but the result, you really can see it in the vibrancy of the colours and the longevity of how those fabrics wear over time. They become heirloom pieces.
Heirloom pieces, and this is why it's worth the investment of the time that you take to create it. You take this out, it's ideal. And I could just sit here and listen to you talk all day. I have to say that. However, we do have to move on. So thank you so much for being with us, Kate and Michelangelo. It has been an absolute delight. And I'm thrilled to talk about fabrics with such detail.